everyone, welcome back to the Prima Advanced User Forum. So my name is Laura, if you don't know, and this week we will be showing you our exciting new enhancements within Prima Client. We've added quite a few new features that will not only optimize your workflow, but can also help expand productivity. So we've got Chris on the live chat, so if you've got any questions throughout the forum, just let him know. And then at the end, as usual, I'll open the floor for questions. So I'll get started if I just share my screen. So bear with me while I get that loaded. Okay, so firstly, I wanted to show you some of the new features that we've added within the company. So the first thing I will show you is the new checkbox that we've added within the contacts. So we've added a new field which will control the sending of back order information. So if I click in to Alfred down here, and then you'll notice this checkbox here that says send back order email. So when this box is checked, it works exactly like the send tracking email does, this one over here. So once it's set in the admin schedule, a regular EDI check is done, and if any new backorder information is available, then an email is created, and you can set this up to be done just once a day. Now we have also added in a new enhancements within the customer tab within the company. So we've improved the mail and authorization feature. So it will send a sales order confirmation automatically instead of popping up. And you find this, like I said, within the company, the customer, and then down here it says mail and authorization. So the default is set to manual. However, you can click on this checkbox here and update it to automatic. So if you do decide for it to be automatic, all that means is instead of a pop-up to send order confirmation to the customer when you press authorize within a sales order, you simply it simply just sends it automatically, just saving you time. Now, speaking of sales orders, if I hop into a sales order, we've added quite a few new features in here as well. So firstly, we've added 3 new fields in the contact within the sales order. So you've probably had plenty of occasions when you're in a sales order or an invoice and you aren't too sure if the contact has a credit card saved or if they're web enabled. So Prima has created this new feature. So when you're in a sales order, you simply just hover over the contact and you're able to see if they're web enabled or whether they have a credit card stored or their pay type. So if I just hover over Tyler here, you can see he's web enabled. He has his web payment type is account and he has a credit card stored. So all this information is pulled from the web access tab within the contact. And it just saves you time. Instead of clicking from a sales order back into the company, then to the contact, then into the web access tab, it's as simple as just hovering over. Another feature that you may not be aware of is that you can now multi-delete lines in sales orders like you can do within sales quotes. So you can multi-select as many lines as you need and click on delete. So if I just click on a few now and show you, and then go over to the trash can, any lines that are requested or allocated will be deleted. However, lines that are ordered or invoiced are just left. If a line is allocated or on a dispatch note, it will automatically take it off those as well. For the dispatch note, though, you do need to have a permission set within the admin. So if I just hop over into the admin to show you that. So it's a user permission. So you go into whichever user you would like that set for. So for example, if I just use Andrea, and it's this checkbox down here that says remove dispatch lines indirectly. So as long as that's checked, then you can do that on there. So if I just close that. And moving on now to receipt notes. So we've added a new feature within Prima so that a purchase order is automatically updated if you receipt in more items than you originally ordered. So for example, some vendors may increase the quantity that they send. That may just be because there's a minimum quantity or if there's a package amount as standard. For example, you've asked for 120 items and they've sent 144 because that's how many comes in the pallet. So Prima now allows you to receipt in a greater quantity. So if for example, we've got one on order here, So like you would normally, you receive in how many you get. However, if I change that to 10, because that's how many the vendors sent me, and click on save, you get this pop-up. So all this means is that it's going to update the purchase order. So it says this will update your purchase order. And this is only allowed for stock purchase lines on the receipt notes or standard delivery lines that could be sales. It cannot update wrap and label or drop ship. So if I click OK, and that's now been updated. If I go in to the links now and go over to the purchase order. So we originally had one on order, and if I move across to the quantity, now you can see that there's 10. It's important to note as well, you may not be aware that you can now manually update the quantity on a completed non-EDI purchase order. And you can also up the quantity on a receipt note now, even after it's been completed. You can even add a new line as long as it's not an EDI order. So throughout Prima, we have actually updated quite a lot of the lookup grids. We've added a few new columns. So for example, if I show you here in purchase order, this time if I click into lines, we've added variants and supplier. You may have already seen them within the main lookup, but now they're in there as well. And we've added many other columns to lookups throughout Prima, and these will be stated within the release notes. So now I wanted to move on to products, stock products. We've added quite a lot of new enhancements in there. So firstly, if I use this product here, so you will all probably have seen this button down here that says copy product. And when you click on it, it used to ask you, are you sure you want to copy this product? Now instead, if I click on that, you get this new pop-up box, which firstly asks you what default unit you would like on your new product to be. So if I change that to a pack or even a case, that's the one that came up, you can choose whether you want that item to be splittable, and you can choose to copy suppliers as well. So if you click this checkbox, all the supplier information from this product, this one we've got open now, will copy over into the new product. It will just add update to the end of the code. So if I copy the product now, and this is our new product here. So it's added the update there. And if we go into vendors, and I just click on that one, and you can see that it's added the update there. So we've added a few new fields in here as well. So firstly, we've added this field that says not in catalogue. So that means if this is checked, it means even if this item is not in the catalogue for this customer or the supplier, then you can still purchase it from the supplier. The reason for this is if it's maybe been not in the next catalogue, or then usually it would get the vendor would get removed. However, if you have this checked, it will make sure that the vendor stays in this product for you. And we've also added this checkbox here that says minimum order. That is a minimum order for the supplier. For example, you can only buy this product in tens. So you just pop that in there as well. So if I just hop into a different product, so this one here, you may not be aware that you can now also update split unit prices with terms, imports, and automatic best price files from vendors. So what that means is if we were to update the larger unit, so in this product, this carton of 10, then the smaller unit, so the each is also, it's filtered down, so it'll automatically update the each for you as well. And you can do this manually in here as well. So if I just hop back into the previous product and into the product unit and pricing tab. So within the product unit and pricing tab, we have added a few new fields that you may not be aware of. So firstly, this total web weight. So previously you could only weight items on brand. So now Prima actually allows you to weight products on attributes as well. So to do this, you do it within the admin again. So if I hop back into the admin, however, this time if we go into general, and then right the way down the bottom, this little checkbox called web weighting. And here you can choose brand and type. So firstly, if I do type, and the attribute we've got for this product is printer cleaner. And at the minute it has a weight of 0. So if I change this to, for example, 7 and hit save, if we jump back in the product, this should update now to 7. And if we wanted to weight it on brand as well, it will do a mix of both of the weights. So the brand for this product is HP. And if I give that a weight of 6 and hit save. Sometimes it can take a few seconds just because it's updating every product with this brand within the catalogue. And if we now go back into the product and we refresh that, it's now changed to 13, so it's used both the brand and the type in there, so the brand and the attribute. You can also customize the out of stock message. So I think Chris might have previously mentioned this in a previous forum, but for each individual product, you can click on here and choose a customized out of stock message. Now, the last feature that I will be showing you today is the restocking fee. So we've added within sales credits a restocking fee, so you can actually choose in this box to add a restocking fee to each sales credit. So for example, if this order, for example, was for $100, then you could choose to have a restocking fee of 10% in there, and then you would give your customer back $90 as a credit after the restocking fee. So all you do is simply pop your percentage in here and it will automatically update the total. You can choose to have this as a default for all credits within Prima. And again, you do that within the admin. So this time it's in system keys, however. So if you go into admin, bear with me because I've left the box open. We're probably all used to that. So if I go into system keys and then right the way down to movement system keys, and then it's here, this default restocking fee. So if I click on that and then choose to pop in a certain percentage for every single credit that's created within Prima, that will automatically load that restocking fee within that box. Okay, so that's all the enhancements I would like to show you today. And all these enhancements are in our release notes, which we will send out to everybody. But Steve, I know you wanted to pick a few to mention as well, so if I pass that over to you.
Yeah, before we get any more questions, I'll just cover. There are quite a few more enhancements that are in there, and they'll all be available on the YouTube channel and the video. But I'll just cover 3 more enhancements, and it'll allow me to share screen. If you stop sharing, will it let me do that?
Yeah, I've stopped. You should be able to now.
I think it's because I'm in a browser version. Unfortunately, I can't share.
Do you want me to share mine again?
Yeah, I don't think.
Can we make Steve a host by any chance?
Somehow I've not techie enough, am I?
You go to participants, Laura. Can you try
Yeah,
and make Steve
I've just tried to do it. Is it working now?
I've got share now. Yeah. Well done. I've got the share button there. So window, entire screen, and select that and share. And I think I'm showing everybody. Can you see my screen now? No, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it.
You can see Prima, can you?
Can. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Super. Sorry about that. Okay. So I just wanted to talk about a few options we put in there, and First of all, it's some enhancements to the history and price check. And this is sort of an ongoing, you have on the top menu, you have got price check, but also it's pretty much the same thing within a sales order. You've got the history. And this is, we've made some subtle changes, but they're quite deep changes. So when you go into history, I guess most people are used to using this screen. It'll, when you go in from a sales order, it'll show you the current line, and you've got options to sort of unclick that and maybe show the last order and refresh. But what we've done, we've moved the refresh grid down here to make it a bit more intuitive. But importantly, we've added into this grid the expected date, so you can see back order information. But we've also, it doesn't just show invoiced lines now, it shows lines on anything, even your sales orders. So the status in here is quite different to what we had before. So if I go back to item and refresh, we'll not just see invoiced history, we will see the status in here of all the different sales orders. So for example, if you wanted to show for this customer, First Choice Alarms, we wanted to show stuff that just hadn't been delivered so far, we could select that. And we can also backward load. So if we want a certain product, we can double click here and it will backward load into here, which will enable you to see the history of just that item for the last 12 months. You can still move to price check. And all these features are available whether you go in through price check or whether you go in through the customer. You can also look at sales for a certain location for this customer, certain cost center, obviously consolidated all as before and contract as before. So this is the next phase which has been delivered, which gives you quite a lot more features. As I say, you can put a sales orders on just in the last day and see all the information about those. So the future of this will be to we're going to improve the search in here to make it much easier to find the customer and be able to link in and link out of sales orders, and also make it a form that at the moment this has to be closed. So we're going to make this a floating form so you'll be able to use it and add links so that you can jump in without closing the form into all the various linked records. But this is we see as quite an important, we'll be delivering that in features over the next couple of versions. Another feature, I don't know, sometimes you have products and particularly with custom products or stuff you're buying sometimes in cartons or bulk, where the pricing's got out of line and you want to correct some pricing on the cost price. So with permissions, again, there's an admin permission that will allow you to actually find an item, and then when you go into the lines mode, you'll have an extra option to, provided you've got the same item, you'll have an option to select all those items. So if it's all UNV for whatever range, and update the pricing on those items. So this is still in production, so you will get that shortly. You'll just have a button and you'll be able to connect and change all these different prices. You've got to have one product selected. That's kind of the main thing. It could be multiple customers, or it doesn't have to be one customer, and it could be a date range, but it enables you to back correct and update in bulk all the cost prices. And then finally, one quite important option is a new pricing method we've introduced. And within the product and pricing, we've got one more option here, use pricing bands. And basically, it uses pricing bands now, but what this does is, this is a hierarchy for using price breaks direct mailers. So if you've got these ticked, for example, for this customer, if you didn't want to use direct mailers and you wanted to use price bands, you would untick that, and it would still use the mailer pricing, but it would work out the cheapest, and it would work them out in that order using those price bands. But this one is particularly useful as a backstop on pricing. So for example, if you didn't want to end up with just a product price or a catalog price, You might want it to say, well, my backstop pricing, if the customer didn't get a contract or didn't get a mailer price, my backstop is, for example, as I've got down here, 25%, then that could be the backstop item for those products. So it's a useful way where you're controlling that you're still making a certain margin, or you're not overcharging the customer. That you might say, well, the average margin for some items might be far too high, and the customer would not do that, and that will work from the back office and from the store. So most US customers will have used direct mailers, so that will be using the mailing things, but it would be quite useful and worth trying out. You can do this in different bands as well. You can sort of have gold, silver, and bronze and apply them to groups of customers. And you can do it in the grid managers as well. So it's certainly a good additional pricing method that helps you manage, not overcharging or again, not undercharging and achieving a margin. So yeah, there's as well as those, I think I mentioned, there's lots more. I'm actually going through. I can see at least another 8 or 9 enhancements that have been applied, and they'll all be on the YouTube channel. So please take a look at that. But if there's any questions, yeah, we're quite happy to answer those now.